Hello, fabulous, unstoppable real estate investors. I'm Rayanna Starr, and I'm your host for today for the top 5%er real estate investor interviews. And with me is a veteran, a man in the trenches. And Dohn is someone that I've met. We're actually real estate investor admins of running our own Facebook groups, and we're all in a network together. And Dohn, Thornton.
Yep, Thornton.
Thornton. And I have just kind of gotten acquainted through that group. And now we're getting to know each other more through these. Everybody's trading off podcasting with each other. So I'm glad I get to know you a little better, Dohn, and share you with everybody in my community, the Unstoppable Real Estate Investor. And so let's just dive right in. Like, tell me the Dohn Thornton pre-real estate investing. What were you doing in another life? And then how did you get into real estate investing?
You know what? I was a searcher for a lot of years, most of my adult life. From the time I was 20 until probably 35, I spent most of my life either in Finland or Russia. And so I learned Finnish, and then I learned Russian. I was a Russian major in college, which is normal education, the educational route for real estate investors. I'm assuming.
Now, are you Russian or were you?
No, I'm American.
Are you American?
I'm a cornbred, corn-fed American from the Midwest, from St. Louis, actually. No, I just had a bug. I wanted to go to Russia. I wanted to learn the language since I was a young boy. No idea why. I just knew I had to learn Russian. And do you speak it fluently? Yes, I do.
Has that come in handy? And if so, how?
Well, it helps me have nice pillow talk with my wife, who's also Russian. So yes. No, I had my whole career mapped out. I was going to learn the language fluently when still in my university age. And then I was going to graduate and then become a foreign service officer for the State Department. And then I went to Russia, the Soviet Union at the time. This was in the 80s. And I worked on a 2-year contract. And by the time my contract was finished, Soviet Union was gone. And so at that time, all these American companies were coming in to do joint ventures and try to open up their products and services to the Russian market. And they were hiring any American who spoke Russian and paying an ungodly amount of money just because you spoke Russian and you had that blue passport. So just like that, I caught the entrepreneurial bug and spent the next, 15 years over there with my own business. I met my wife, we got married, 2 kids, now a grandson. And then I didn't actually come back to the US until right around 2000, I think, was when I came back. And
did your family come with you?
They did, yes.
Yeah.
But the irony is that I got a job with an American company here in Florida. They sent me right back over.
You had to live there, or you were just going back and forth?
Yeah, we have our. We already had an apartment, and my wife's Russian, so I met her over there when I was working, and so
So do you guys go back and forth a lot? Like you still own a home there, and you go back and forth?
Used to until COVID hit, and then the war started. So, I've only seen my family 2 times in the last 3.5 years. So it's been interesting from that point of view.
So your roots are Russian. You have Russian family. Okay.
I don't know. I'm the only one in my family.
Oh, you mean your family, your wife and children are there?
Yes.
They're there and you're here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's tough.
It is tough. Yes.
And why is that? Because I
started real estate when I was we had just gotten married, and we got married in Moscow. We came to Orlando in 2000. I got a job in Orlando, and we were fully expecting to stay and just live in in America. And then the company that I, got hired for, they said, we need to go back over to Russia and run our Eastern European marketing division. So I said, okay. And then, we conceived our son here, and then he was born over there, but he had some really difficult health issues, and he could not get the kind of therapy that he needed in America. So we just had to adapt, and he got that therapy over there, but it was like 15 years of therapy. I probably dropped at least $1.5 million on his therapy over his 15-year life, plus all the schools and everything. So
wow, you really had to be successful at real estate.
When the American company shut down their Russian division, I had to leave them for 2 years, and it was just a no turning back. I said, I'm never going to let my family and my fate be, at the hands of some unknown person making decisions that affect our lives. So I said, I'm going to do something to where I will never again.
You're in control.
Yes.
Right.
So I decided that real estate investing was the best way to do it. And so that started a 2-year odyssey to figure out how to become one and what niche I wanted to be in. And I just kind of fell into short sales, and the rest is history. 20 years later, still doing short sales.
Wow, what a story of resiliency, Dohn.
The last 20 years, until COVID hit, I was flying back and forth. I was diamond medallion for decades, and then it all came crashing to a halt with COVID. And then I've only seen them 2 times in almost 3 years now. So.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for the future for you guys? Will they move back here, or will you move there? You'll move there?
Her parent, no, I will never go back. As long as Putin's there, I'm not going back. So we kind of come up with a compromise situation. What I'm doing now is allowing me to work and make very nice money anywhere I have an internet connection and a phone. So I think I'm gonna move to Finland, and there's a town I lived in '87, right before I went home, and it's right on the train from Moscow. The Moscow is an overnight train to Helsinki, and so I'm just gonna probably just get a place, rent one to begin with. I'll see if I want to buy later, and then just live there, and then they can come and see me whenever they want on the overnight train, and I can get her money. See, I can't wire money over there right now with the situation. So they've been without money for 7 months now, 8 months or something like that. So yeah.
Yikes.
It's been a little tough. So yeah, that's what we're looking. This fall, I'm looking to make the move. So.
Wow, Dohn, man. So talk to me about, that's a story. You need to write a book.
I will eventually write a book, yes.
That is a story to tell. Wow.
Right.
So they're always going to stay there because they need to for your son.
Well, no, I mean, my daughter's married. We have a grandson. Her parents are in their 70s, and they're not in very good health. I mean, her brother basically blew his family off and moved to Germany and had something to do with them. So she's the responsible child, and so she's going to have to take care of the family. Of course, all of our real estate's over there. We don't want to give that up. So. Because I mean, I didn't spend. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I invest all my money in Russia real estate, not American. So, she's got to stay. So it is what it is. No one expected a war like this. So
yeah,
you just have to adjust.
Yeah, and is it safe? Can you go to Russia right now?
I won't go now. I will not go. You understand? I think
that's smart.
I was there in the Soviet Union. I mean, I had KGB agents coming into my house when I was gone at work and taking dumps in my toilet and not flushing just to let me know they're there, and calling me up at 3 a.m. just to harass, things like that. I never felt unsafe. I felt annoyed, but never felt unsafe. Now, because lately they have been, detaining Americans, including, Brittany Griner, the WNBA star. I will not go back. It's just, I don't want to be used as a hostage in some political game. And so I told him, I said,
well, that's too bad for you and your family. That puts you guys in a tough spot.
Yes, it is.
Well, it looks like you're finding a solution.
Yeah.
Living in Finland.
Yeah. I like Finland. I speak it. I love it. It's a nice place. Yeah. So
now, as far as short selling, and you own all your real estate in Russia, you're not short selling in Russia, are you?
No, they don't. They only recently put mortgages in their. Most people bought cash for many years. Only the last few years they really started doing mortgages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your short sale business. How long you've been doing that? About 20 years.
20 years.
Is that funding your family, your sons? That's basically.
It was, yes. not anymore. And short sales are slow. They've been slow for a while since COVID, because you had 18 months with no foreclosure filings. And
Right.
then with the markets, I mean, appreciating so high, not many people are upside down. So I'm just kind of waiting that out. So it's kind of like in my back pocket, and we can start up at any time. I mean, we have about 18 right now in the pipeline, which is really low for me. Before COVID hit, I was doing 25 a month, so that was
Wow.
But it's what's that saying? Whatever door God closes, one opens, or something like that.
Sure.
Anyway, so it's helped me transition to what's turned out to be my big passion. Is just teaching people how to save incredible amounts of money on their taxes and asset protection, which fits perfectly what I'm doing as an investor, because that was always the bane of my existence, because I had such volume with my flips that I was having to pay ordinary income. And when you get above $165,000 a year in ordinary income, I mean, you're paying 32% on your taxes. And look, we're all the real estate investors that know what they're doing. We expense almost everything we can, but you still got to pay something. They're going to go to jail. So, and at 32%, it's like having a IRS is my third minority partner, or having a third of my stock, and it's like I need to get rid of him. And I was able to figure out how to do that thanks to a really good contact of mine. And I will tell you that the last year I filed my taxes, I'm still going to file for 2021, but 2020, I had zero taxes owed. First time in my life. And it was just like, damn, this does work. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And so what do you do? Have a course that you?
No, you know what? I just teach it. And here's the thing. I thought
How do you do that? You just get a group live, or you work with people?
No. I just spread the word. And like, for example, tomorrow, Patrick, our mutual friend, we're doing a joint webinar together. But honestly, it's just a lot of people reaching out to me, and I do Zooms with them, and I just tell them how to do it. And what's really amazing to me is that I'm getting so much traction on TikTok. Believe it or not, this guy.
Wow.
I put a video up this morning that just said $400,000 pre-tax net income. I can show you how you can convert $388,000 of that into permanently tax deferred passive income. And I have gotten like 12 calls already, because I leave my cell phone on there. And, I'm probably going to convert at least half of those. And they're all they're real estate investors, a few business owners, but they're all one and the same thing. How do I save that kind of money? How do I save that kind of money? They think it's just this, either it's too good to be true, or it's a scam, or there's no way that could happen. And what I discovered is that, the really ultra rich have used this strategy ever since the 1930s, when they established the US tax code. And this strategy is actually written into the tax code. It's just no one really knows about it. And I wouldn't have known about it unless some guy that I knew was working for an attorney that worked with someone who had this strategy.
Are you working with mostly high earners, people that are above that 165 a year?
Yes. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. If you're making like $200,000 a year in net income, then it makes a lot of sense. But if you're down like 50, 80,000, I mean, it's problematic at whether you probably could have enough deductions to not pay that much in taxes that way. But when you start getting up, and you start getting that 32% tax bracket, then you're doing it. Plus, as an investors, whenever you're doing any kind of a deal that has capital gains tax, you either have to do a 1031 exchange, or you got to pay the pipe.
Yeah.
Right? Well, this strategy, you don't have to pay capital gains ever.
Okay. So what you do is, do you just work with people one-on-one and help them figure out the strategy, or do you just?
No, I have the strategy. They just have to, I teach them what the strategy is, and they can decide if they want to implement it. If they do, then I can get them, the linchpin of the whole strategy is a trust that's called, and it's a mouthful, it's a non-grantor, irrevocable, complex, discretionary spendthrift trust. And no one, you're not going to go up with LegalZoom. You're not going to go to even a trust attorney is not going to know about this, generally speaking, because it's a very specific trust. It's been, I don't want to say kept secret, but it wasn't out there to people. But this is, I mean, listen.
Can you put assets in the trust like your real
yes,
estate?
that's the whole point. Yes.
Okay.
You put every asset you have into the trust.
Okay.
Right. Personal and business.
Oh, no kidding. Personal and business.
Yes. So.
And then they're protected. Does it protect you from probate?
100% asset protected. You don't have to worry about probate anymore. You don't have to worry about eminent domain. You can, if you got your assets in this trust and the county or the state saying, hey, we want to take over your land and we'll give you a check for it. It's like, no, bye-bye. You can't, they cannot force you to do anything with eminent domain if you have this trust. And so that you are bulletproof asset protection. They can't sue you, because of the nature of the trust. It's based on contract law, not legislative law. And the Constitution guarantees that the legislature cannot tax, or they cannot pass laws against a contract. And so LLCs, land trusts, holding companies, S corps, C corps, they're all creations of the legislature, and they can all change anytime, eliminate, or whatever. With this trust, it's been around for centuries. It's so much law has already been settled on many court cases. You can't touch it and you can't move it. It's the immovable object, and everything you have in there is protected 100%. Plus, that's where it also has this. It's all in accordance with IRS Code 643 that deals with this kind of trust, and therefore, capital gains are all forever in perpetuity. You defer them all the way. You never pay them, and then any passive income that comes in to the trust is also, all the taxes can be deferred in perpetuity. So the key, this is what the real strategy is how to show people that have ordinary income or capital gains, how to convert that into the passive income to bring it into the trust where you have all that tax protection. And that's really where the secret sauce is that I teach people how to do that. And it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen before in my life, where, I mean, $1 million of net income, literally 970,000 of that income can be converted into permanently tax deferred passive income. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I got $1 million, that's 32%, that could be like $320,000 of tax thing. It's like, no, I'll show you to where we'll get that 970,000 of that into a sheltered trust where you're not going to pay taxes on it. So when you calculate your taxes, you're going to calculate it only on 30,000. So you can imagine how little taxes you're going to pay from $30,000, right? Right. And like I said, Grant Cardone uses it. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, if you reach a certain income, it's almost like a secret club. They tell you what to do. And so nobody owns anymore. They control, but they don't, they put it in these trusts and they become trustees of the trust. So they control everything and they own nothing.
So are you delivering this as a one-on-one, or do you do classes on it, a webinar on it? No. How do you help people learn? What I'm doing right
now is trying to be the most efficient as I can, because I've only really been doing this for about, since April. I'm doing a lot of one-on-ones, but like tomorrow I've got a big webinar at 11 o'clock. I'm also teaching around 90 entrepreneurs on another webinar at the evening. So I am looking to do as much of one-to-many as I can.
Okay, good.
So, what I'm trying to do is get the word out to influencers and leaders out there who have a following and say, look, I would love to be able to do a free webinar for your people. And then if they're interested, if it resonates with them, then they can approach me to, get more questions answered or implement the strategy.
Okay, I love it. Yeah. Love that. All right. Awesome. What else what else do you want people to know about you and what you can help them with?
If I was going to get on a rooftop and if I was going to just start, yelling something out.
Yeah. Well, we weren't there yet. You're jumping the gun, but that's okay. Yeah. What's your rooftop message? What do you want?
My message is that, open yourself up to what's out there and don't reject something because you don't know about it.
Or don't understand it. Be
human
curious,
nature being the way it is, if it's new, we meet it with suspicion and with caution usually. Okay. And so the challenge that I have mostly is not explaining the strategy.
It's a lack of trust. People are
trust, and it's like it can't be.
Or people are cynical or skeptical. Yeah.
Or it is something as simple as, well, I'm not rich enough. It's like, you're fine. You don't have to be rich to use this. That's the block people have.
Right.
Know? And it's like, no, this works for everybody. We're going to democratize this strategy.
All right. I love that.
Yes.
Love that.
We're democratizing the tax code for normal people, and that's what I love. That's what I love about it, because at my heart, I'm a big believer. I'm not a libertarian, but I'm a big believer in knowledge and people empowering themselves. And what is the biggest leak that most people have in their profit bucket, right? It's taxes. By far, that's the biggest leak that people have. You plug that leak, it's like you're giving yourself a 30% raise.
Yeah.
And you can do it. And if the rich people do it, then let us do it.
Right.
We can do it. We're smart, and the thing is, you don't have to be smart. It's so simple,
Love it. And I love your enthusiasm, because we don't have much enthusiasm when it comes to taxes. I certainly don't. And I love this. I love this so much. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
What else? What else?
I talked to an investor who told me that he had 1,200 rental properties and he was going to be doing more. And I said, just out of curiosity, how many LLCs do you have? And he says, oh, don't even tell me about it. He said, I spend $35,000, $40,000 a year just on filing fees and everything. And I said, well, if I told you that you could have all of those properties into one trust with one EIN number and one bank account and one tax return, he goes, that's not possible. I said, it is. You can do that. And I said, and I'll show you how all that money is going to be deferred in perpetuity, because we're going to turn into passive income. I mean, your lease is already passive income and everything else will be too. And I said, you'll be surprised. And he goes, oh my gosh. He says, I've got this deal where I got so many holding companies and they're attached to some Wyoming LLC or whatever. And I said, you don't need it. One trust, everything's in it. And you're 100% asset protected and you're not going to pay hardly any taxes on it. That's the way to go. And he goes, oh my God.
Love that. Love it. Yeah. Awesome.
But what I like about it too is I talked to a woman who owns a pressure washing company, and just, and they make she made $240,000 last year, but she paid $48,000 in taxes. And I told her, I said, you realize, of course, that I could save, well over 200,000 of that could be deferred and you wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. And she goes, oh my gosh, I need this. Where were you all? And I was like, exactly. So it's not just the richies. It's people that are just human, middle class, upper middle class people that also need this. And so I'm just convinced this is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful that my short sale business has gone to the back burner, because this is really where my passion is. I love.
Obviously, you're very passionate about it, and
yes, I love it.
It's really inspiring and giving people hope.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This strategy will very well. I'm convinced that for the people that use it, it can very well be the difference between thriving when the market turns and going under.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is insurance for a recession.
That is awesome. Love it. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty much straight to the point. I got it out there, but I will say this is that someone who has spent my life trying to find unorthodox solutions to weird dilemmas in life, I can tell you that there's always a solution if you just are persistent and you don't quit.
And you're curious and open-minded enough and resourceful enough to keep hunting something down. Yeah.
One last thing, attorneys, accountants, they don't know about it. and they're and they when you use this system, you don't need them much anymore. So they're going to lose their money. They're going to lose income. So be prepared for pushback from those people because they don't know about it and it threatens their livelihood. So, you know,
or they could learn about it and then be promoting it, and then
they could, and most of the time they don't. And I talked to a number
Yeah.
of these people, and they always say, "Dohn, it's going to put me out of business. Why would I want to promote it?" So, seriously, I've had that said to me many times. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I love
what a great service that you're offering, and I can understand why you're passionate about it. And I mean, that's really a game changer for people.
Yes.
To do that. So what a great service. And please feel free to promote webinars, workshops, what you're doing in my group, because people need to hear about this.
Right. And, you know, I said I could do one for you if you want, just let me know off camera. And I'd be glad to set something up. And I'm very easy. As you tell, I love to talk about it. What I really love to do is get into the details, which we couldn't do in this, obviously, but
right.
I love watching people's reaction when I go through and say, okay, then you do this, and then you do this. It's like, they go, really?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share this little tax secret with us. And if you are, you know, over that 200,000 mark in income each year and you're getting killed on taxes, you need to talk to Dohn Thornton. He can help you with this very unique trust that has a name that's an entire sentence and goes on and save you some money on your taxes. Who doesn't want to do that, right? I'm Rihanna Starr with Dohn Thornton as my guest. Thank you for joining us on the Top 5 Percenter Real Estate Investor Interviews. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed being on.